Have you ever heard of chicken math? I've got a bad case of chicken math at my house. Chicken math is where you buy one chicken and you don't want that chicken to be by itself, so you buy another chicken. And then as those chickens grow, you realize that 2 eggs are not going to be enough, so you need to get 7 more chickens. And then you realize maybe 9 chickens is not quite enough, so you double that number. And then the process just continues until chickens are taking over your entire life. That's where I am today. That's what we're going to have to deal with in today's video. Welcome back to Homemade Simple. If we've not met before, I'm Lori. I'm really glad you're here today. I hope you have access to eggs in your backyard. If you do not, eggs have finally gone down. I saw them at Aldi the other day for about $1 a dozen. You cannot beat the quality of protein that you get from an egg for less than 10 cents. So if you do not have an abundance of eggs, store these recipes away in your mind, and then whenever you do get a couple of dozen eggs, you can make these recipes for your family. I've got a lot of eggs to go through. Let's get started. I'm gonna start this video talking about scrambled eggs, and I know that sounds really too elementary for most of you, but when I first had kids, I really got interested in more natural cooking, more natural cleaning, and along with that, my desire to cook with iron skillets. And if you are a novice iron skillet user, scrambled eggs are just something that you probably have struggled with, because honestly, I gave up on iron skillets because of scrambled eggs. I have finally figured out how to make scrambled eggs in the iron skillet without them sticking to the bottom, and I want to share that knowledge with you just in case you are getting started and you really want to use iron skillets but you're getting discouraged because things are sticking. A good seasoned iron skillet is your friend in the kitchen, and if you have a grandmother that you can go to and beg one of her iron skillets from and tell her that you promise that you're going to take really good care of it and you promise that you're going to use it every single day, then she probably has a couple of extra that she would be more than happy to give to you. And that way you can start off with a really good seasoned iron skillet. That is the key. Good news is we can buy seasoned iron skillets from the manufacturer. I'll link a couple of options down in the description box just in case you don't have access to a good seasoned iron skillet, and that way you can get a good start with your iron skillet cooking. I'm going to begin with a seasoned iron skillet. You can see that it's sort of shining in the sunlight, and that's what you want. Try not to use a lot of harsh chemicals like a lot of dish soap on your iron skillet. You want it to keep that season on your skillet. You can heat them on the stove when you're done washing them. Then you won't have to worry about bacteria on your iron skillet. But I'm going to start with a good seasoned iron skillet. My oil of choice when I'm cooking scrambled eggs is coconut oil. I'm out of coconut oil, so I'm just going to use butter. This is probably a half a tablespoon of butter for 2 eggs. This is probably medium-high heat. The reason I like to use coconut oil instead of butter is because coconut oil has a higher smoke point, but butter will work just fine, and butter is easier to access, so that's probably better anyway. Okay, while that heats, I'm going to crack my eggs. I'm just going to use a fork to scramble them. Those are ready. Now let's go back to the skillet. Do you see that little bit of brown right there? I know that my butter is getting as hot as it will before it burns. So I'm going to pour in the eggs. This is a critical step because you want them to set on the bottom before you do anything. So they are good and set. Now I can just sort of use my wooden spoon to go around and around, allowing all of the egg to cook. And then this is the great thing. Like it just will come right out. And you see how there's nothing stuck. It's all in allowing it to cook at the very beginning after you have heated up the pan perfectly. If you're not into iron skillets or into scrambled eggs, that's okay, because I have a really yummy casserole coming up. Let's make a breakfast tater tot casserole. It's gonna use a lot of eggs. I have some tater tots in the freezer that I picked up at Aldi. If you don't have tater tots, you can use potatoes. Also, I'm gonna brown up some bacon, and we're going to put this together super easy. I'm going to crack 12 eggs, and also I have my bacon cooking in the iron skillet behind me. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper. And to prepare my 9x13 dish, I'm going to spritz it with olive oil, and then I'm going to pour the tater tots on the bottom of the baking dish and press them down to try to make sure that they're in one layer. I'm going to sprinkle about 2 cups of freshly shredded cheese on the top of the tater tots, crumble the bacon on top of that, and then pour all of the scrambled eggs on top of the bacon, and top the casserole with a little bit more, maybe half a cup more of shredded cheese. I'm going to cook this in a 400-degree oven. I'll check it after 45 minutes and make sure the eggs have cooked through. This is one of the most versatile egg recipes that I have ever made. It will be perfect for a breakfast, for a lunch, for a dinner, a brunch. You can have it when people are coming over. And even though this was one of the simplest and easiest recipes I've ever made, it looks nice enough to serve to company. So I hope that you will give this tater tot breakfast casserole a try. It was a total hit here, and I hope that your family enjoys it too. Okay, now that we've got those two out of the way, I want to try making some ham, egg, and cheese cups in a muffin tin using deli sliced ham, shredded cheese, and a dozen eggs. I am going to make half of these sort of like fried eggs or whole eggs, and then I'm going to scramble up the other eggs and see how they compare, see which ones I like better. We are more of a scrambled egg family, and so I'm thinking that my family might enjoy the scrambled eggs better in this recipe. I'm going to do both just so you can see which might look better for your family, and then maybe you can give them a try. I'm going to begin by taking a 12-cup muffin tin and spraying it with olive oil. And then I'm going to take 2 pieces of ham for each cup and use them as a liner and a base for the recipe. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of cheese to each of the cups. In 6 cups, I'm going to just crack an egg and break it right into the cup. Then in the other 6, I'm going to take scrambled eggs, just like I did for the tater tot casserole, and add them to the other ham cups. I'm going to cook them at 350 degrees, starting at 15 minutes. The cooking time is going to depend on how firm you like your whole eggs. I like mine pretty firm, so it ended up taking about 20 minutes for them to be set. I really couldn't believe how simple this recipe was and how good it tasted. This is one of those elegant recipes that really takes no time at all, is affordable to make, and is going to be a crowd pleaser. As I was thinking about recipe ideas for this egg video, I kept coming back to one of my sweet friends, Miss Ward. She is actually turning 85 years old today. She has been a pivotal woman in my life. I love her with all of my heart. I really feel like she has helped me in my Christian walk and has helped me to really think about things in a deeper and better way. And I love her. I really appreciate her so much. And I thought, as a tribute to her on her birthday, that maybe we would make a recipe that whenever I think about this recipe, I think about Miss Ward. Whenever I would go and visit her, I remember her offering me these cookies. I had never had them before, and in my mind, meringue cookies are associated with my sweet friend. I hope that she has a wonderful birthday today, and I hope that you enjoy this recipe. We're gonna start by separating 4 eggs and only using the 4 egg whites. I'm going to use my KitchenAid mixer to make these meringues, but you can use your handheld mixer as well. I'm going to add the 4 egg whites to the mixing bowl, add 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mix these 3 ingredients on low until they become foamy and are well incorporated. Then I'm going to turn my mixer onto high, and I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. You have to add the sugar slowly. So add about a tablespoon or 2 of sugar every 15 seconds or so. Allow it to beat well and incorporate before you add the next batch. This is going to take a couple of minutes, but your patience will be well rewarded and the cookies will turn out perfect. You'll know that the meringue is well formed and ready whenever it is shiny, thick, and will hold a stiff peak. I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of vanilla flavoring, but you can add almond flavor or even peppermint flavor. You can get creative with the flavors that you add, as well as any kind of food coloring that you would like to add if you were making these for a baby shower or for a birthday party. I'm going to pop mine from a regular Ziploc bag, but you can use a popping bag with a popping tip, and those will turn out more elegant in the end result. I wanted to do it this way because I wanted to show you that you don't have to have any extra utensils, and it will turn out just fine and super cute, even if you just use a cheap store-bought bag for your popping. I have my oven preheating to 225 degrees. I have cut the corner of my bag, and I'm going to use that to pop onto a lined cookie sheet. I just used parchment paper. I'm going to pop out the meringue onto the parchment paper, making sure that they don't touch, but keeping them as close together as possible. These cookies are not going to spread, they're not going to grow, so you can get them as close as possible without touching, and they will turn out perfectly. You can make them as small or as large as you want to. Just try to keep them uniform in size so that they can all cook completely. I'm going to bake them in a 225 degree oven for 1 hour, and then turn the oven off for 2 hours, allowing them to cool and to set well. When they are done, they ought to be crispy and fluffy and airy. It's amazing how good these cookies are with as few ingredients as they require and as simple and easy as they are to make. I sure have enjoyed spending this time with you in the kitchen. Thank you for watching the video today. If you have an egg recipe that I need to know about, please share that below. I love to see all of your recipe suggestions, and I will try to incorporate all of them in future videos. If you've not subscribed to the channel, I hope that you will do that, as well as give the video a quick thumbs up, and be sure to share it with someone who you know might be able to use these simple, easy, and delicious recipes. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a wonderful week. I love you, and I will see you again next time.